Today we visit Lake Rotoiti or Nelson Lakes. Please note, dogs and other domestic animals are not allowed in the Nelson Lakes National Parks. They are trying very hard to conserve the nature that is living there. There are various walks that you can do here. The St. Arnold Range Track, Loop Track, Honeydew Walk, Peninsula Nature Walk, Black Hill Walk, Moraine Walk. There's also various campsites that you can use. It's powered campsites, and you can also do some canoeing and water taxi. I have personally checked out the campsites, Teetotal campsite and Kerr Bay campsites. You have power, and you also have a small kitchen area that you can use for your to make food in if you don't want to make use of your own equipment. Starting off at the lake, there's a visitors information center, which is a lovely little place that you can check out. They have a lot of information on the area, the history of St. Arnold, and how to conserve the nature that is there. They also give you loads of information on the type of birds you can find there, how the weeds are taking over invasive species, and what we can do to help conserve the original plants and birds of New Zealand. We all want New Zealand's precious native wildlife to be safe and to thrive alongside us. But did you know that an estimated 25 million native birds in New Zealand are killed each year by rats, toads, possums, and other introduced predators? So, ship rats and Norway rats was obviously introduced by the ships. Were transported here on whaling ships and with early European settlers. They eat native birds and their chicks and their eggs, as well as insects, plants, and seeds. Ship rats are particularly good climbers that can access the furthest reaches of tree branches, and Norway rats are good swimmers and large enough to kill adult burrow nesting seabirds. Stoats. Stoats were introduced in the late 1800s in a misguided attempt to control the introduced rabbit population. Need the equivalent food intake of about 12.5 p waka waka fantail chicks per individual every day just to stay alive. Imagine that. They hunt day and night and can move quickly and travel long distances on land and across water. They can climb trees to eat nesting birds and eggs, and they kill more native animals than they need for food and hide their carcasses in dens. That is just awful. Possums were introduced in 1837 by European settlers hoping to establish a fur industry. Can you believe that? They strip the forest canopy and can cause forest collapse by eating the new shoots, flowers, and fruit of native trees. They compete with native birds and reptiles for food sources, and they kill nesting birds, chicks, and eggs. They carry and spread the infectious disease TB. For this reason, you will see various ways how it is controlled. You will see conventional traps, bait stations, and self-resetting traps on your walking tracks. Please do not interfere with these traps. Now onto the walking trails. We have the Indo-Australian plate and the Pacific plate that is squeezing against each other here, and it's on the alpine vault. So the hills and the mountains here were formed by the soil that was pushed up. There's also some regular small earthquakes that you will feel when you are in the area. Native species needs our help. There are various species that is currently threatened and declining, like the long-tailed bat found in the North and South Islands, the yellowhead or moa. They are declining at the moment. They are found in small isolated populations in the South Island and on predator-free offshore islands. Then there's the Dactylanthus that is nationally vulnerable at the moment. From Northland to Warapapa, with the largest populations in Eastern Cape and the Central Plateau. There's also a small population further on in the Little Barrier Islands. Then our beach mistletoes, they are also declining. These species are found mainly in the beach forest, and it's like a red mistletoe, and you also get a yellow mistletoe. And we also have a declining species of frogs, the Archie's frog, a cute little froggy that is found in the Coromandel Peninsula and forest in the King Country. And then our kaka birds. They are found in the North Island kaka and currently at risk. They are being recovered, and in the South Island kaka is threatened still, and they are nationally vulnerable. They are found in large forest areas in the North and South Islands. And then, of course, our kiwi bird or Fiordland totuka. They are mainly found in the northern Fiordland totuka from Milford Sound to Wilmot Pass in the southern island. Fairyland Tutuka from Wilmot Pass to the Princess Mountains. New Zealand's native plants and animals existed and evolved for millions of years without mammalian predators, so they were defenseless and extremely vulnerable when people introduced these mammals. Combined with other factors, such as habitat loss, introduced predators have contributed to more than 50 native bird species becoming extinct, along with several plants, frogs, reptiles, and bats. Without predator control, many more native animal populations will become extinct in less than 2 human generations, and forest health will continue to decline. So we face a choice: leave pests unchecked and accept that native forest will become silent and bare, or control these predators and help New Zealand's native species to thrive with us. In areas where rats, toads, and possums are permanently eradicated, nature heals, allowing native wildlife to return and recover. We're seeing this in many of New Zealand's offshore islands that have become predator free sanctuaries. Predator Free 2050 seeks a permanent solution on the mainland with an ambitious goal to eradicate rats, toads, and possums by 2050. The goal to reverse the decline of the moa. The only time most people will have seen the moa or the yellowhead is on the New Zealand's $100 note. Over the years, the small native forest bird has been decimated by introduced predators and has completely disappeared from most of its former haunts, but there is still hope of a revival. Moa has been monitored for decades at important South Island sites. Did you know that the rifle bird is New Zealand's smallest bird and almost has no tail? It picks It's insects from the trunk trees, and it possibly got its name from the way it's picking the insects. Displayed here are some of the small critters that you will find in the beech forests here in St. Arnold's, like the bat that I mentioned, and some of our geckos are also not too happy to share a life with the predators. This is what the little rascals looks like: the possum, the ferret, and the rat. Coming in lastly is something that wants to hunt us humans. These are called sandflies. New Zealand have 13 species of sandflies, but only 2 of them bite. It's the South Island black sandfly and the West Coast black sandfly. Best advice I can give you here is wear long sleeves and bring insect repellent, lots of that. Upon my visit here, I met some of the long-fin eels that are making this lake very famous. That is believed that they can become over 100 years old, which makes them the oldest in New Zealand. They are sacred to the Maori people, and they are the top predators in the area. They eat anything: mice, ducklings, crayfish, other fish, and probably each other. I'm not sure of that one. Longfin eels breed only once in their life, and they swim to the Pacific Ocean to spawn.